Welcome to Golf Smarter Mulligans, your second chance to gain insight and advice from the best instructors featured on the Golf Smarter podcast. Great golf instruction never gets old. Our interview library features hundreds of hours of game improvement conversations like this that are no longer available in any podcast app.
As you stand over it, when you turn your head to look towards whatever you're looking at, if you have that breaking putt, you want to train your eyeballs to kind of walk down that string line and not to look at the cup. If you get a breaking putt, you want your eyes to trace that start line that you want the ball to go down instead of just looking towards the cup, because we always tend to hit the ball or swing where we're looking. So if you get a breaking putt and you find yourself eyeballing the hole, chances are you're going to start the ball right towards the hole and the ball's going to end up on the low side.
With another interview from the archives of Golf Smarter, here's your host, Fred Green.
Do you mind talking about selecting a putter? Because I've been in stores where I say, what should I be looking for in a putter? And they went, whatever feels good.
Whatever feels good.
It's like, really? You're a professional salesperson here? Whatever feels good. You can talk to me for an hour about a driver and a wedge, but putter, it's like, whatever you want.
Right. If somebody came into the shop here at the club and they were asking me that question, I would ask them what do they currently putt with? If I get a new putter, if we could kind of wave a magic wand and it was going to do something for you, what would it be? And if it's if somebody's telling me, I can't get the distance right, or I have a hard time lining up, those kind of point me towards, maybe, somebody that's having a hard time being consistent with their putts might need some, a mallet putter, or, the TaylorMade or Ping or one of those other putters that's got a lot of stuff on the back that kind of offsets your mishits. I might go in that direction. Somebody that has a hard time lining up, I would definitely favor something that's got more lines or graphics on the top that enables them to point the right way. I think a key component that a lot of people really don't take advantage of or kind of delve into is getting putters that are fitted the right way. And it doesn't have to be terribly complicated. It's not as big an ordeal to go through as maybe getting a set of irons or a driver fitted. But to me, a lot of people putt with putters that aren't the right length. So what I'll do is I'll use I use one of the little mirrored putting devices that Eyeline Golf makes, and I'll just get the person into a good posture where they're set up and they roughly have their eyeballs kind of over the top of the target line. Then let the hands and the arms hang down. And then I'll put the putter in their hands and kind of see where the end of the, maybe we don't need a 35-inch putter when we've got 4 extra inches of grip when you're set up the right way. So I think getting a putter that's the right length. You look at the guys on tour. Phil Mickelson uses a putter, I think, that's like 32 and change inches long.
Well, he's tall, so his putter looks like it's about 19 inches.
Exactly.
He's really got it looks like a very short putter.
Sure.
It's really
and I had a clinic the other night where I was teaching some ladies, and I was looking at the putters that they had, knowing that they were going to make my point for me. I said, now a lot of people have putters that don't fit them very well, and I said the problem is that a lot of people will they got their dad's putter, their husband's putter, brother's putter, whoever they got the putter from, and if you're a different size, there's a good chance that putter's not going to fit you the right way. Now, most golfers are going to assume that their hands are supposed to go at the end of the grip, wherever that grip is. So if I go into the store or the pro shop and I grab a putter and all the putters are 35 inches,
always,
which you go, well, that's how long putters are, and I'm supposed to put my hands right here. For a lot of people, it puts you in a really bad posture where you don't have your eyes over the top of the ball, and you're also going to be standing really tall, and you just don't have any room to swing your arms back and forth. Most good putters are going to tilt over, lean over and get those eyes over the ball, and also create some space where you can swing your arms back and forth. And for most people, that puts you in a putter that's a lot shorter than that 35 inches or 34 inches.
Right. And what about? Now, this one's really been intriguing me lately. These belly putters, these long putters that people have jammed into their stomach, and holding it differently because their elbows are now flared out when they're holding onto it, and they've got a club that is attached to their body, which I thought was illegal.
Right. Perhaps should be.
Well, I mean, you're not allowed to have parts of a club touching your body while you're swinging. Isn't that the rule? I don't know. But what are your thoughts on belly putters?
The belly putter is an interesting concept. And I think a lot of, some of it depends on where your belly is, I guess, and the size of the aforementioned item.
The putter or your belly?
Yeah, both. So I think it's a good concept because what it does, and it's this kind of brings up your point from earlier, anchoring it against your body, is it takes away a lot of people's ability to be too handsy because you do have the end of it fixed. So I think for a lot of people it's a good solution if you just feel like, boy, I've got busy active hands and they just won't stay out of it. So maybe going to a belly putter is a good option. I also think for a lot of people it kind of gives you a good feel because I favor the more of the arc kind of stroke where the putter kind of moves in a semicircular fashion down there, and I think it gives a lot of people kind of a better feel for doing that. Letting the putter kind of move a little bit inside the target line in the backswing, and then go ahead and swing through on the through swing. So I think it's a good concept. The only challenge I think with belly putters and long putters is when you have really long putts. So when you've got that thing anchored into your belly and you're trying to take a backswing, you get out 30, 40, 50-foot putt. It's kind of a challenge to do that because it's awkward to swing that thing back there. The correct amount where you can make a good stroke coming back through.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, point number 5 for better putting through the banana putting system, rate it.
I can't believe we got to it so quickly.
I think we need to go over the first 4 again because I've just completely forgot what we were talking about.
What was this interview about?
So
okay,
scan it, plan it, point it, roll it, and rate it.
Rate it. So now we've hit our putt, and we've got some feedback. Hopefully it's good, but certainly it may not be. So we need to, we've hit a putt, we've got a result. So now we want to take that and see if we can figure out what maybe we could do better going forward within the round that we're playing. I get really tired of when you play with somebody and they miss a couple putts, maybe the first 2 holes, and it's just not going to be my day. I'm just not going to make any putts today. I wouldn't want to give up nearly that soon if it was me. I would want to say, hey, let me see if I can kind of right the ship here and get things going the right way. So what I like for people to do is, after you've hit a putt, kind of think back through those first 4 concepts, the scan it, the plan it, the point it, and the roll it, and you kind of give yourself a grade. How did I do in each one of those departments, and is there one of them that, in my opinion, predominantly caused me to miss that putt? Because I think if sometimes you go, well, you know what, I didn't pay attention to what's going on around the green. I thought I had a straight putt. It turns out this whole area that I'm on has a great big slope to it, and I missed the putt 2 feet on the low side. So maybe I should pay attention to that better. Sometimes it'll let you make an adjustment. Just you say, boy, I hit 2 putts and I thought I did pretty well with it. I checked the area out, I committed to it, and it still broke more than I thought. So you go, okay, well, let's use that. Let's go the rest of the round and say, hey, these greens are breaking more than I see or more than I think they are, and let's factor that in. Because typically when people look at me funny, like they'll walk off a green, I'm like, why did you just miss that putt? First of all, I'll say, why are you harassing me? Because I'm not very happy right now. I just missed the putt, so get off my back.
Yeah.
But if you say, okay, well, we got 4 options here. How did you do in this one? How did you do in this one? How did you do in this one? And then how can we take that and do something with it going forward? And if you decided, hey, I didn't commit to it, I just wasn't comfortable when I got over it, then okay, well, that's a good goal to have. I mean, that's an achievable goal as you go to play. So I'm gonna see how many times I can go through this process, line my ball up, and stay 100% committed to it the rest of this round. Let me just see how I do. But I think it allows people to go back through and kind of on the spot make some little adjustments. And you're not trying to change your putting, or you're not changing your stroke. You're just looking to make sure that you kind of went through the process of getting ready to make the putt the right way. And if something's off a little bit, then we can make an adjustment. We can change our putting so that you're not that guy that's, I missed a putt on the first hole and I was done for the day. I knew I couldn't make any more after that.
Oh.
Because you can always make more putts.
Oh yeah.
But you're not going to do it by getting, angry with yourself or giving up on it. Because just like there's a reason it goes in, there's a reason it doesn't go in too.
From my own experience, I know that once the ball goes in the cup, my mind is generally already on the next tee box.
Right.
And
yep,
I'm not thinking about, other than just, counting the strokes, which I try to do after the hole is done instead of doing it while I'm on the hole, is to just then recap, just rate it, just go over what you went through and see what you can do to improve. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, a lot of people are too busy, either being, unhappy or upset, or maybe they're going to find their putter after they threw it, or, whatever the case may be. But if you just, it only takes a couple of seconds. And once you kind of get in that mindset of saying, let me see what I can learn from this. And then, because most people don't want to miss all their putts the rest of the day. They don't want it to be a day where they miss everything. So it's like, well, if we could do something here, and if it could just be a little mental thing that takes a couple of seconds, then maybe that would be worthwhile to kind of get involved in that.
Do you did you advise your students to spend more time on the practice putting green than the driving range before a round of golf?
I think it's a good idea. I would advise them to spend more time on the putting green just in general. I would say if you got, because a lot of times people are running up to the golf course at the last minute. You certainly want to hit a couple, enough full shots to kind of get your body loosened up. But I do think it's important from a standpoint of maybe establishing some rhythm and gathering some information, just to go hit some putts on the putting green and just see what how's the green speed going. And I usually advocate that, when you go on a putting green, putt some balls all the way across it. Hit some long putts. Don't just, take the 3 balls out, throw them down, putt 3 10-footers and then run to the first tee, because there's a good chance you'll have a longer putt than that. So I usually have people do long putts and then kind of work down and do some short ones before you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people, you got to realize that your scorecard before you even start gives you 36 putts.
Right.
Right? And if you watch the tour, if you're watching, competitive golf, you're going to see that those birdies, those strokes that are saved on any hole are generally done on the green.
Yeah, no question. No question. It's just not the challenge with getting people to work on their putting is, like I mentioned earlier, putting a golf ball, rolling a golf ball on the ground doesn't take a lot of skill. Making it go in the hole takes a lot of skill. Yeah. But it's not something where you say, well, if I went and practiced my putting, it's going to look a whole lot better. You're going to hit pretty much the same shot. Now the result may look different in the fact that it goes in or doesn't go in, but you don't look at somebody and go, boy, that guy hit some, really some awesome looking putts. They all pretty much look the same because it's just a ball rolling on the ground. Mm-hmm. And I think because of that, people are less likely to work on it, because you say, well, what do I need to know how to do? Like I said earlier, my little daughter, if she swings her plastic club and hits a ball, it's going to roll on the ground. She's probably not going to get it to go in the hole very often, but a lot of people would look at that and go, well, I don't need to learn how to putt. And I'd say, well, that's true, but you do need to learn how to make the ball go in the hole, and that's kind of a different ball game.
Yeah, it really is. That's an excellent point. Hey, I'm not going to let you go until you give me a couple good drills.
Okay. What would you like a drill to help you out with?
Get the ball in the hole, man. What's the conversation about?
One of the first things that I have people do, and this would be myself included, is to spend some time. However much time you have, spend some time. Once a week or twice a week or whatever the case may be. Find some way to know that you're pointed where you think you're pointed. Go find a 3-foot putt on the practice green that is dead straight, and whether you lay 2 golf clubs down to kind of form a little track for yourself, or whether you use, something from Eyeline Golf or one of the other companies that makes these little, things that help you line your putts up. Use one of those so visually you can get in the habit of seeing what it looks like when the putter's square. You get your eyes in the correct spot for you, and you feel like, okay, now if I hit this, I know where it's going to go. Because a lot of missed putts come from the fact that people just don't aim very well. So I think that's a really good, even though it's very, very, very simple, and some people would kind of discount that because it's, it seems, well, this is kind of boring and it's not very difficult. But from a couple standpoints, one, you should be able to, depending on your handicap level, find a putt that's a little bit challenging, whether it's 3 feet or 4 feet or 5 feet, and see if you can make 20 in a row. And what it does, it forces you to line up correctly all 20 times. And the other thing it makes you do is it makes you pay attention 20 times in a row. So you actually have to put a little bit of effort into it. So I love doing that with my kids that I teach. Is look, we're gonna stand here until you can make 20 in a row. Now it may be a foot away from the cup, for a younger kid, but if you're an adult, put it 3 feet away or make it challenging. Put it 4 feet away and go, look, I'm going to stay here till I can make 20 of these in a row, because one, it makes you line up 20 consecutive times, and it makes you try 20 consecutive times. And that's why a lot of us, when we miss little putts, you saw Tiger do it at the Masters. He didn't give it his best effort on the 14th hole on Sunday, and because of that, he missed a 2-foot putt.
Yeah.
So some of it's just training the physical, but it's also saying, look, let me learn some discipline here to do this right every time. Now, if you don't care if it goes in or not, skip it. You don't need to do it. That's okay. But just we don't want to hear about it if the ball doesn't go in. Then, so I think that's a good one. And then another, you'd have to put a little bit of effort into this. Is I like to take I got 2 knitting needles that Dr. Farnsworth gave me, and a nice piece of elastic string in between. And I love to put that down and have people work on rolling the ball down the start line, the direction that they want the ball to go. So have them find a breaking putt, stick those needles in the ground with a little string in between, suspend it up in the air, and roll the ball underneath the string, and just get to where you can get a feel for putting the ball down a line that's not straight towards the cup. Okay, and the other aspect of that, not to get more long-winded than I have been already, is to as you stand over it, when you turn your head to look towards the whatever you're looking at, which you never know with people, is if you have that breaking putt, you want to train your eyeballs to kind of walk down that string line and not to look at the cup. If you get a breaking putt, you want your eyes to trace that start line that you want the ball to go down, instead of just looking towards the cup, because we always tend to hit the ball or swing where we're looking. So if you get a breaking putt and you find yourself eyeballing the hole, chances are you're going to start the ball right towards the hole, and the ball's going to end up on the low side.
You ever talked to or read Eric Alpenfeld's book about instinct putting?
I'm a little familiar with that. I haven't read the whole book.
Yeah,
though.
That's the one where you are looking at the target, not at the ball when you stroke.
Right.
Have you tried that? Have you?
I'm probably about 50-50 on that concept.
Yeah, he says use it for practice. It's too
Right.
weird for in play, but for practice, just because you think about a guy shooting free throws. He's not looking at the ball. He's looking at he's looking at the hoop, or a quarterback throwing a pass. He's not looking at his hand. He's looking at his target.
Exactly.
And so, I got that concept, but the fact is, I'm holding the ball with a basketball or a football or a pitcher, right? And so I'm looking at my target. But with putting, you got to hit the ball, so you look at the ball, but the ball's not the target. The hole's the target. And I think we lose that concept. Not only on putting, but also on your normal stroke, that the ball is not the target. You got to get a full swing in there. The target is over there.
Exactly, yeah. And I would contend on a lot of putts that even even though you'd like the ball to end up where the cup is, actually your target on many putts is a spot that's away from the cup. That's the direction you're rolling your ball to get the ball to go in the hole. So I like to have people kind of look in that direction instead of towards the hole all the time.
And when somebody asks you, what do you think about this putt? Do you say, 3 inches outside the cup, or do you say, here's the top point of where it's going to break and then come back? I mean, because I generally look at a line. I mean, that's what I'm so excited about the banana putting concept, because I look at the full line that I think the path is going to be when the ball's rolling, as opposed to aiming for the cup just outside. I'm aiming for the cup itself, but how's it going to get there?
Right.
I would. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. No doubt about it. I forgot you asked a question at the beginning of that, and I.
Well, do you advocate it's 3 inches outside the cup, or this is the point where it's going to break?
I would. Like we mentioned earlier, I try to get people to figure out what's the most break I could play, and then kind of work down from that. Mm-hmm. So usually if somebody asks me what a putt's going to do, is I'll kind of ask them a question back. I say, well, tell me how hard you're going to hit the ball, and then I can give you an answer. Because if I give you the line first, then I'm dictating the speed to you, and if that's not a comfortable speed for you, I may like to hit mine a little firmer, and this guy likes to hit his a little bit easier. And if I give him my line, he's going to have to go with a different pace than he's used to, and he's probably going to get a bad result. So I usually I'll say, hey, you're going to hit it. You're going to diet in. You're going to hit it medium. What's your idea about your pace here? And then
no, wait a minute. How do you quantify or demonstrate how you're going to hit it? I mean, do you say, just show me your stroke for that putt? Or do you say, I'm going to hit it 3/4? I mean, how do you verbalize that?
I would, I guess I would ask them maybe, do you see the ball dying in the cup, or do you see it, ramming hitting the back edge of the cup?
Okay.
Which one of those seems like the better idea? Most people are going to like the dying in the cup idea.
Well, especially if you're going downhill. To me,
sure.
You're going downhill. You want it to pour into the front end of the cup. You're hitting it uphill. You want to hit to the back end. You want to hit to the back of the cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I just try to get a feel for the, what pace I think they want to hit the ball on, because it's, if it's somebody that's concerned about running it past, and I've chosen a very aggressive line for them, that's not going to work out. They're going to get over it, and that little man's going to whisper in their ear that something bad's going to happen, and then they'll probably be right.
There he is again. Hey, Fred.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Paul, I really appreciate you giving me this much time, because I've really drained you on this one.
I enjoy talking about it. So
well, good. It's so funny because, and I have to share this with the listener, that when we spoke the other day about setting this up, he's like, "Well, do I need to prepare something?" It's like, dude, this is what you talk about. What's the problem? I'm going to ask you.
I've been reading right off my notes all day, Fred.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you questions about putting. How long do you think you can go?
Yeah.
Again, bananaputting.com is the website, and the ebook is Banana Putting. Tell us about what you can get when you buy the ebook off your website.
If you buy the ebook version of it, some of my friends in the golf business contributed ebooks of their own, which you also get as a bonus. So one's from my friend Susan Hill, who's a golf fitness trainer. She's got some great stretches and some great exercises, really, that every golfer should be doing, and it's good stuff. I've read it. My friend Stephen Ladd, who's the renegade mental golf coach, has a book that he's contributed on some great mental strategies that people can use as they're getting ready to play, and also as you're playing on the golf course. He's got a little different spin on things, so I think people would be interested to hear what he's all about. I've also got from my friend Wendy Friesen, who's a hypnotist. She's got a golf session that people can access, when they buy the book, so they can go to a little page on her website, and she's got a very interesting little routine that she runs you through, which I found interesting. I haven't done a whole lot of hypnosis for my golf game. Maybe I should, but very, very good stuff. And I'm trying to think.
As long as she doesn't hypnotize you to say you're Tiger Woods.
I've been clucking like a chicken ever since we did it. And I'm at a loss as to what the fourth one was. I'd have to go back and look at my own site and see what it was. I know there's 4 bonuses on there. I just don't recall exactly what the last one is.
Well, I think that we should get each of those people onto the Golf Smarter podcast.
Yeah, you know what? I just remembered. It's Craig Sigel has a book on an ebook on how you can improve without practicing, which I like because I don't advocate that you have to practice a ton to be able to get better with my putting concepts. So that's the fourth one. I'm glad I just remembered. Craig's a friend too, and I don't want to forget him.
Oh, that's nice of you. But I think that each of these people, I'm not so sure about the hypnotist, but each of these people need to come on to the Golf Smarter podcast. Can you help me arrange this?
I sure can.
Awesome. Paul, that was fun.
Good stuff.
That was a lot of fun. Thanks so much. Thanks for the tips and the advice and the insights and the epiphanies.
Yeah, I'm glad we had a couple.
Take it easy, buddy.
Okay, you too.